There's been 27 James Bond films, one animated kids cartoon, a handful of Heineken commercials, and like an Olympics thing with the Queen or something like that. And I've seen all of them. And this brings the question, what's the best one out of all of them? Easy, it's Casino Royale. What's the one I'm going to talk about in this video that most people don't like, but I like a lot? It's Quantum of Solace. This is the Quantum of Solace video. Quantum of Solace is a follow-up to the film Casino Royale, starring Daniel Craig. I haven't read the books, but my understanding is that this doesn't follow whatever the storyline from the novels are. This was purely written for the film as a follow-up to the Casino Royale film. It literally takes place immediately after that film ends. This film was, if I remember correctly, this was during a writer's strike, so the filming was very complicated. There was a lot of rewrites, reshoots, figuring things out on the day of, and it's one of the leading reasons I think a lot of people have a negative view on this film. I, as you might have realized from this video, have the opposite of that opinion. I think this was a great film. This is actually one of my favorite James Bond films. I have very little negative to say about this film. This was a great, really cool, interesting story, great scenes, great action scenes, great director, Mark Forrester. He did World War Z, I think. What else did he do? Other stuff? I don't know. But this one is a good one. So it's a, like I said, takes place immediately after Casino Royale. Literally, the like probably 10 minutes after is when this film starts. You wouldn't know that if you watch these films back to back, because Casino Royale ends with the famous scene of James capturing Mr. White, Mr. White, and he is wearing his three-piece suit and he has his big machine gun. This film, it begins with him wearing a black two-piece suit. So either he changed at some point before this car scene takes place, or they just didn't care to switch it out. And this, Liz, I know this is like a critique of the film. This is like a nothing critique that they got the clothes wrong. Like, who cares? People don't notice that stuff. I do, because this is what I do. But this is like, if that's like a complaint about a movie, is that he's wearing something different than he should have been wearing in the scene. It's like, that's how you know this is the makings of a great film, that you're noticing these things that are because you're looking for complaints. You know, I'm looking for the complaints to try and find something to complain about. And he's wearing the wrong suit. That's the best I could come up with. I remember the first time I watched it, the first few lines of the film, it takes place in Italy. So the first few lines in the film are all in Italian. They're Italian police officers, like on radios or something. And so I thought I was watching a different version of the film, like a translated version. And I realized I was watching the regular version, but it was just all the dialogue was in Italian. Once I got that sorted out, I loved this opening car chase scene. I think one of the better car chases. There's no like gadgets, there's no trap doors or bulletproof or, you know, dropping bombs. It's purely just a lot of motion and moving and cars hitting sides of canyons and falling, and then sharp things. Like, you see everything happen. This film came out during the era of what they call the Bourne standard of film fight making, where it's a lot of quick cuts, a lot of movement, a lot of action, you know, cut like 9 different angles of things. And so it's hard to follow the movement of fight scenes. And there's a bit of that in this, but I think that you still see everything happening, and you see everything get set up, and how the action in this takes place. I think this is very well done, very well cut, very interesting, different angles. Like, you see everything happening. You see the thing shoot out of the side of the truck and then pull the door off. It's great. It's a really great action scene. It ends with the reveal that he captured Mr. White. He has Mr. White in the trunk of his car, and this is what it sets up to the opening credit sequence which is a great song. This is honestly like, the thing is that when you think of like the songs, the James Bond songs, you think of like the Shirley Bassey or the, you know, these kind of jazzy tunes, a lot of like Frank Sinatra, whatever. And this one is like rock, Alicia Keys and Jack White. This is like a rock song. But this is one I actually listen to a lot, just in general, because I really like this song. And it's good guitar and trumpets or whatever. It's a good song. I like it a lot. And then there's an original version of the song. I don't remember what it's called, but you can look it up online. It's pretty good too, but I don't think it matches the film. It doesn't really match the era that it came out, and it doesn't really match the vibe, I would say. It's like a jazzier song. I wish I could remember the name of it. I should have looked it up. I know people are going to comment that I'm not prepared, but it's a good song. If you can look it up, it's fine. So the setup, the main plot, obviously from the title Quantum of Solace, it kind of figures the film centers around this villainous organization, Quantum. It was introduced in the previous film through the character Mr. White, who appears throughout the film. He is the one who ultimately gets the money that Bond wins from the casino game. He's the one who saves him from getting his balls. His balls was hit. He's the one who kills Le Chiffre and is the head of this mysterious organization, or at least you assume is the head of this mysterious organization. We think we meet the head of this mysterious organization in this film, but really, it won't be until much later in the series that it is revealed. And, you know, maybe I'll talk about that at a certain point, that film. So they have people everywhere. This is revealed when M's like main assistant guy is her main bodyguard is a part of this Quantum group. They've secured every position in the MI6 in government. They're everywhere, and it's like a good villainous kind of the Illuminati thing, I would say. They have a scene where they're sitting in an opera, and they all have their headphones in, and they're talking to each other. They're having their like quiet conversations. There is a part of you that thinks that, like, why would they be going out in the public at this big opera to have their super secret, you know, let's take over the world meetings? And look, it's a movie. They need to have an opera scene. They need to have Bond find out about this organization. Why are they doing that? That's not it. But whatever. It's a fucking movie. Like, it's an interesting scene, and it shows the superior intellect of the Mr. White character, where they're all getting up to try and escape after they find out Bond is there, but Mr. White is the only one who stays, and he takes his earphone out, and he was very, very sly about it. This is a good like organization group. They are able to turn the world on Bond. So in the opera scene, I'm talking out of order in the film, but they're leaving the opera. They're able to have Bond kill someone. So Bond finds out that there's a organization. He needs to investigate it. He goes to Haiti, I believe, and this is where we're introduced to who I think is introduced in the film as like the leader of Quantum, but we find out he's just another pawn. Dominic Green. He's some sort of I don't know if it really gets into what he does, but he's some sort of socialite, environmentalist, I believe. He runs a green organization. It's adding on to the theme of the Bond villains having color in their names. I think that's like a kind of a subtle code word thing that a lot of the villains have in the series, which is kind of interesting. And he's doing something devious, but you don't really know throughout the film. And later it's revealed that the big plot is that he is holding hostage all this large supply of water from all these South American countries, which is like some of the reviews I've seen of this film. They don't love that plot. I think it's a great plot, and it's a grounded, realistic supervillain plot. holding water, that like it's a very important thing for human life, obviously, and holding that water supply from these South American countries where it's hotter. He owns that population. I think it's a very like good villain plot for a film. So Bond is in Haiti or wherever. He's going undercover to try and find out more about this organization. He comes across a assassin in a hotel room. They have a really great but really short fight sequence where Bond, he has a brutal kill where he stabs him in the thigh and he just lets the guy die. He doesn't look at him. It's very stoic Bond in this film. This is fresh after the love of his life. He had to watch her kill herself because she betrayed him, and she had all this guilt around that. And so this is a stoic killer Bond he's just out for revenge. He just wants to figure out what the fuck is going on, and he wants to have what is what the title of the film, his Quantum of Solace, which I'll admit that it is kind of a dumb name. Quantum, I guess, is like a small percentage, and solace, like meaning peace. He just wants his Quantum of Solace, which he eventually will get by the end of this film. While he's undercover, he meets a girl, Camille. She has her own doings with Dominic Green. She had a relationship with him, but she was only using her relationship with him to get to the general who murdered her parents. And she has a big scar on her back, implying that this was the scar she got when he burned down their house, I believe. She wants to get her revenge on him. She finally thinks she's about to get it, and then she has to interact with Bond. It kind of ruins her plan, and then they kind of use each other's. It's very much using each other's trauma to help each other out. Bond gets in trouble for going rogue, for going to the opera. They send this lady to come and assist him, to come take him home, but he charms her because he's just such a charmer. He reunites with the guy who he was previously, he had him arrested in Casino Royale because he believed him to be the mole, but turns out the whole time it was Vesper. So he reunites with this guy. They have a good kind of a rekindling. He bestows some wisdom upon Bond before ultimately being killed, and a very kind of a nice ending for this relationship, for this character who he kind of he didn't trust him. He turned his back on him, and then ultimately he kind of viewed him as like a father figure in a way of this guy who he taught him a bit more about himself and about letting go and about falling in love. I think this was a good character, good send-off for the character. Again, I don't remember his name. People are going to be mad about this, but it doesn't matter. Oh man, it's a good character name, that's for sure. Anyways, that woman character who's sent to take Bond back, eventually he finds out she was killed by being dunked in oil. She's laid out upon the bed, covered in oil. Similar, it's a homage to the famous scene from Goldfinger, when the lady is laid out on the bed covered in gold paint. The oil obviously being a red herring of the film. Everybody thinks that he's going after this land because he wants the oil. It's because he wants the water. The oil was just a kind of a ruse to keep everybody expecting one. And this was, I think, adding to that. They go to this party, and Bond has this confrontation with Dominic Green. He's a really great villain. I think that because he's not physically imposing. They have a fight scene later in the film, and he doesn't seem like a character who's very physical. But like there's a scene when somebody it falls on the car, and the bodyguard, Dominic says to his bodyguard, "Is he one of ours?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Then he shouldn't be looking at me." So he's very much a diva villain in that sense, where he doesn't want to do the things himself. He wants someone else. He wants to be the guy at the top. He wants someone else to do all the work for him. I think these are really there's very interesting things that they've hint to with this character without giving too much away about who he is, what he does. His relationship with Camille, they have this very interesting dynamic where he kind of knows that she was sleeping with him just to get to the general, and he's kind of threatened by her, but he's also, maybe he still might like her and might still want to use her. I think that this villain, he's a very good villain. So by the end of the film, Bond and Camille, they go to this hotel to confront Dominic and the general, and it ends in a big fires and explosion. Dominic sacrifices his men as a way to try and protect himself from Bond killing him, and he is unable to. He grabs an axe. He tries to axe Bond, but Bond overpowers him, as you would expect in a film like this. And then Camille goes after the general. She's preparing. Bond is giving her like a pep talk on like how she's going to kill him. It's a very touching scene between the two characters. And then she goes in as he is attempting to rape a hotel staff member. She is able to save this woman and successfully kill the general. There's a bit of a fake out where Bond thinks for a second that she's been killed, and obviously find out that she wasn't killed. Bond goes in to save her. They think they're done. They're both done. They're gonna burn to death in this hotel, but he figures out a way for them to escape. They escape. He brings Dominic out into the middle of the desert with him. He tells him everything he knows, and then he says, here's some motor oil, drink the motor oil because you're stuck out in the middle of the desert. And that's his ending. That's a good, like, he's now in the middle of the desert. There's nowhere to go. We find out later that his superiors find him and they put 2 bullets in his head and motor oil in his stomach. A fun kind of twist to the character, because obviously the oil, that was a big part of it. He is keeping the water from the people, and now towards the end of at the end of the film, he has no water. He's left with the oil, and he is found dead in the desert. Bond and Camille, they reunite. They attempt a romantic relationship between them, and then realize they have to go their separate ways. It's not going to work out between them. They share a kiss, and then it's like, this. Let's not do this. They both go their separate ways. Bond eventually goes to, I believe it was Russia, to find Vesper's boyfriend, who had her involved in the whole plot for Casino Royale, so he can finally get his quantum of solace. He can finally get his revenge. He reveals to M he didn't kill the guy. He's still alive. Bond has forwent his desire for revenge, leaving the guy alive and being able to be arrested. And now he is able to put all of the Casino Royale, the Vesper stuff, put it behind him, and he's ready to commit himself back to MI6 and go on his missions. This is a great Bond film. My only complaint is that it's very short. It's about an hour 40. What is that, 100 minutes? As a 100-minute film. I think it could have been a bit longer. I do think there's some points where they could have extended some stuff. I think that could have made the film a bit more a bit more, I would say, backstory, a bit more plot, a bit more expedition. What is it called? Exposition. I think it could have done with that. I think this film, that's my major complaint with the film, is that it could have been a bit longer. But this had really, really great fight scenes. The whole hotel scene at the end of the film, it's a great sequence. Very, dangerous. There's fire everywhere. They're swinging off of like bridges, and glass is breaking, and they're swinging axes, falling off of ledges. This is very, really engaging sequence. The opera scene, it's a lot of fun. Bond, he breaks a doorknob and locks a guy in a room. This is good stuff. This is brutal Bond. He's not holding back. He's going, giving it his all. So yeah, this is a great one. This is one of my favorites. I think that this one gets overlooked. I would say if you that you saw it and you didn't like it, I would recommend you rewatch. It's an hour 40. You can watch that. Or if you haven't watched it, you've been avoiding it, I would say watch it. It's a really, really good one. It might even be less than an hour 40. So yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on the film. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? I just want to know. That's all I think about. Thanks for watching this though. I'll see you next time. Big peace.